Hello everyone, my name is Barbara and I'm presenting a paper called Product Service System Development Process, a Systematic Literature Review. I'm gonna make a small introduction talking about Product Service Systems, which we also call PSS, and its context. I'm also talking about PSS development processes and presenting the goal of this research. Next, I will explore our research methodology and present some results and concluding remarks. Okay, so a product service system is a sustainable business model that aims at selling not only physical products but delivering a solution to the customer composed by an integration of products and services. You would be bringing services into a traditional product-based manufacturing system, which is called servitization in the literature. That is still an emerging model in the industrial context. Because of the state of trend that the system stands on, industries still have some difficulties developing it. When you talk about developing a product alone or a service alone, you can find many assisting approaches to this development process. But when you consider an offer of products and services together, there is still a gap on approaches that can be easily carried out into the industrial context. This paper aims at taking a first step toward this direction. The goal of the paper was to gather major product service system development approaches and also to present those with a big sustainable focus. So, we've done a literature search on Scopus and Web of Science databases with a combination of keywords that is being shown in your screen. We searched for product service system plus methodology or tool with a set of keywords related to the development of the system. These combined keywords were searched in papers title, abstract, and keywords on those from 2008 until 2017. The search found 195 non-duplicated files which were skimmed in order to look for those PSS approaches we were looking for. This process resulted in 87 papers which were entirely read. The PSS approaches we've gathered were organized around the product service system lifecycle. Some authors have stated the importance of developing PSS through its life cycle as a way of adding value to your solution. There isn't an only stated cycle for PSS. Some authors have proposed a cycle with 3 steps, while others have proposed cycles with 5 or 7 stages. The important thing to have in mind is that PSS must be developed from cradle to cradle and not from cradle to grave as traditional products are developed. We have chose to work with a cycle that has 5 stages. The first one is PSS requirements definition. This stage of the cycle aims at finding those requirements needed on your product service integration that would attend consumers' needs. After that, we've got PSS development. This stage of the cycle integrates products, services, infrastructure, and a network of actors, which are 4 basic elements of a PSS. You can develop your system from these 4 elements. Later on, we've got PSS implementation, where you are actually going to install the product and implement the service. After that, there's PSS monitoring, where your solution is going to be used by the customer and you will gather data from the system so you can decide either your offer should continue operating or if it needs improvement or perhaps if it doesn't fit your customer's needs anymore. If that's the case, you get to the last stage of the cycle, destination after use, which can be replacement, recycling, or product take-back. So we worked within this cycle and we looked for the most important PSS approaches to each stage of the life cycle. The criteria we used to decide which were the main approaches was the number of time each of them was cited within each life cycle stage. The most cited ones were found to be the most important ones. For PSS requirements definition, we've got Service Explorer and Quality Function Deployment. Service Explorer is a tool that can be used on its own, while Quality Function Deployment is more of an assistant development approach that should be used among other approaches for better functionality and results. For PSS development, we've got MAPS, which is Methodology for Product Service System Development. This is a very well-known and enshrined methodology for PSS among the research field. It's a methodology that actually covers more than one stage of the life cycle. It has great focus on sustainability and on the actions that every stakeholder must take in order for the system to work. We've also got Product Service Blueprint, which is an adaptation of service blueprint models that is very diffused in research and engineering fields. Product Service Blueprint takes this service blueprint and adapts it into product service systems characteristics. So it should work better for PSS than the simple use of a service blueprint framework. For PSS implementation, we've got FMEA, which is an approach that will help you uncover some flaws your system might have and organize your ideas so you can manage and fix those flaws. And we've got PSS board, which is an approach that covers many life cycle stages and is very focused on the system. For PSS monitoring, we've got two simulation tools which are System Dynamics and Discrete Event Simulation. And finally, for PSS destination after used, the last stage of the cycle, we've got Practical Design Framework and a PSS Lifecycle Model, which are two approaches that cover many stages of the cycle. They are somewhat new in the research field and not so disseminated as MAPS, for example. We have also gathered some PSS approaches with a great sustainable focus. Not every PSS you develop is highly sustainable. You must have that as a goal from the beginning of the development process. So here we've got maps and product service blueprint, which I've just talked about in the previous slide. We've got sustainable product and service development, which is a method with great focus on sustainability. It measures environmental and social aspects related to the conceptual development of a PSS. Besides that, some authors have developed an approach integrating the three P's of sustainability with the simulation tools, and others have described 94 evaluation criteria for PSS with a main focus on sustainability, quality, and cost. For concluding remarks, we could easily notice that most of the approaches we gathered were focused on the first stages of the product service lifecycle. This could be explained by the choice of keywords employed on the literature search, which had a great focus on the first stages. For future research, we suggest expanding the search in order to cover the last stages of the PSS lifecycle as we have covered the first ones. I'd also like to highlight that this work could be a step forward into filling the gap on PSS development approaches that can be easily applied into the industrial context, and help to power up the PSS field within this industrial context. Thank you all for your time.